I'm Susan Sherman.
I'm Susan Sherman.
I'm Susan Sherman.
No, I'm Susan Sherman.
I am Susan Sherman.
Try as we might, there really is only one Susan Sherman. From the time she could talk, Susan's focus on fashion was clear. It wasn't just ABC, it was Armani, Bulgari, Chanel.
There is no one like Susan Sherman.
And people have been trying to live up to her standards ever since.
You kind of had to say, what would Susan Sherman wear in this situation?
I kind of describe Susan as the sun, and these things sort of orbit around Susan. You know, she has been so central, in everything. You don't see any event that has to do with fashion or art in this city that she has not had a footprint on.
I'm glad I have access to Susan's closet, because I gotta tell you, this woman knows how to dress. Believe it or not, we actually share clothes. I know it sounds so high school, but we really do. Susan and I like to joke that I'm the black Susan and she's the white Deborah.
I do remember one time I went to Neiman Marcus and found a pair of shoes, and what the salesperson told me is, this is what Susan Sherman wore for her cover of the Best Dressed issue. So Susan was always this huge presence way long before I met her.
I think that there's a distinct difference between fashion and style. More importantly, taste. Susan has great taste. Susan is a tastemaker.
Susan is heralded not just as a fashion and art icon in St. Louis, but as one of the city's greatest unsung boosters.
When the Forum for Contemporary Art built the new building and it became the Contemporary Museum St. Louis, it created a platform that Susan used to push not only the museum itself, but St. Louis onto the international page.
And I was at a contemporary event, and in walks Susan. And it was like the Red Sea party.
Susan doesn't do things halfway. She just takes it to the limit and really lets nothing stop her.
When I finally met her in person, the magic of Susan became apparent. What struck me really and has stayed with me is that she's not just a lover of fashion, it's her generosity of spirit.
And take a look at just a few of the organizations she's helped champion.
Susan radiates warmth and confidence and self-assurance.
When I think of Susan, the first word that comes to mind is that she's fiercely determined and she's passionate.
There's a lot of power in that pretty little package.
Susan could run a small country, and she's very, very funny. I love Susan. I think there's sort of the outward appearance of Susan, which is a little bit of running a country. And then there's the Susan as a friend who is incredibly funny and incredibly generous.
There isn't anything store-bought or off a rack about Susan.
Well, let me tell you. Susan does this thing, I love Susan. There's so many of them, but Tanya, come here. I have to tell you. And I love when she always says, well, I just need some of that moolah temple.
From her generosity and style to her drive and determination, there is only one Susan Sherman.